Welcome everybody to my show, The Common Sense Man. I am your host, Jeff Wiley. We're going to jump right into it again. Kyle Rittenhouse found not guilty. I think that's a huge win. Let's do a quick synopsis real quick of what happened. I'll go through it fast. Kenosha started burning because of the Jacob Blake shooting, a criminal who had a restraining order for sexually assaulting a girl underage. The police were called. They showed up. He fought with police. He was tased. So they used less lethal. It did not work. He did have a knife, and they did shoot him. Kenosha rioted. The vice president visited him, and a part of town that wasn't rich enough to have the insurance to rebuild is still down. You can look it up. It's all out there to see. A New York Times reporter actually made a piece on it, and it was strategically held back until after the election, and she no longer works there, and she's actually released it. You can see it now. Kyle Rittenhouse, whether you believe what he should have done was drive there and defend property, is not what's on trial. What's on trial is, do we have a right to defend ourselves? He showed up. He did not burn anything. He did not destroy anything. He did not attack anyone. He did not assault anyone. He did not threaten to assault anyone. None of that was captured. None of that was seen, and none of that was depicted in this. What was depicted is a kid, whether you want to believe he was an EMS or EMT, fully certified, yeah, okay. I think we all sometimes reach above what we are, but he definitely, in my opinion, had better training than 99% of the Antifa and BLM crowd out there. That was, some guy got hit with a rubber bullet, and it was not even a flesh wound, hard to scrape, and I can remember seeing them put a tourniquet on it. You're going to cut the circulation of his blood off for a paper cut. Anyhow, I think, in all honesty, most of the people that were there armed looked like they could defend themselves and handle themselves. And I think it's rather evident when the one video shows one of the guys at the car sources, when he says, F around and find out. Well, it makes the crowd mad. But at the same time, he didn't back down from them. They got all upset because, oh, you need to control your people. And it's like, well, you guys are the ones out here yelling and screaming at us because we're out here, and then somebody starts yelling, protect your property, not the street. Well, it's their property that got pushed out there. And again, you see a Kyle Rittenhouse pulling that trash can back into the business. You hear and you know that Joseph Rosenbaum and these other people were destroying things. Okay, we know that. In fact, the prosecuting attorney said, oh, look what he did, and then gave a little at the end of that. I mean, this has to be the most arrogant prosecutor I think I've ever seen. So I think they seen Kyle Rittenhouse as kind of like a pack of wolves or a pack of lions see, an injured, antelope or giraffe or something in the wild, and can separate it from the herd and then attack it. He looked like just a little kid, had a gun. We can get it from him. He's not going to fight us. He hasn't said anything. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. When Rosenbaum and they set that vehicle on fire and he shows up, they're trying to say that he pointed the gun at the one guy that had a gun, but he's right-handed. Okay, he's right-handed. In the video, which was massively pixelated and rendered, he points his gun left-handed, and you can almost see through him. So he has a strap on his body, and he switches to left hand for some reason. He's running with the fire extinguisher in his left hand because he's still maintaining gun control, puts the fire extinguisher down. Why does he then go and change? Well, it's because the video was changed. Okay? because within less than 3/4 of a second later, you see him turn and run. He's got the gun, the right like this in the right hand. They didn't have a chance to argue that because that was given in as late evidence. He runs. He gets chased. He turns. Now, before I go any further, I know a lot of people that have massively more gun training than I do. And I'll guarantee you those people that have watched these videos enough times in the court and then seen them on TV, I don't know if I could have composed myself as he did in that type of atmosphere, in that type of riot, in that type of crowd. And in a way, I think they figured they could get the gun from him, worst case scenario, maybe shoot him, kill him, take his gun and go on some sort of bullcrap. Because, mind you, everyone he shot or attempted to shoot convicted felons. Joseph Rosenbaum was a convicted child molester. And if you look up his rap sheet, if that was my kid and he did what he did, I don't think I could ever let someone like that in my house again. I'm sorry. The number one, pedophiles. Number one, gone. History. Number two, you beat up on your wife. Okay? And if it's known and seen that you're just kicking her around, or your spouse in general, beating up on the elderly. I don't have any time for them. I don't have any time for the helpless getting attacked. And I think they attacked him because they thought he was helpless. So he gets chased, he turns, he aims the gun at him. Rosenbaum throws his hands up. He doesn't shoot him. Brings the gun back down, takes off running. Now, mind you, he ran 3 blocks to that Duramax on that lot to put that thing out. His adrenaline's pumping, he's running, he's probably got lactic acid building up everywhere in his body. So he runs again. Now there's a crowd of about 100 people you can see from the drone video that had gathered around the cars that were at the bottom of the screen. He runs that direction, but he runs between the cars because he doesn't know where else to go. That's fight or flight. He has a choice. Does he have a flight path? Does he have a way to get away? In his mind, heck, in my mind, you're stuck between those cars. You have a choice. Do you run to the crowd of 100 people, or do you turn and face the assailant that just yelled, F you, a gunshot was fired, and he reaches for your gun? He chose to fire at the nearest threat, which was Rosenbaum. He puts him down. That scatters the crowd. He runs to the other side. More gunshots are fired. I don't know where they came from. Nobody's ever identified them. He looks like he's ready to help, and then he realizes that everybody else running around there is not friendly to him. He gets on the phone, he calls his friend, and he says, I've just shot someone. Now, he's completely separated from everybody else he was with, so he takes off running. So you see him run by Gage Grosquates, whatever his last name is, Gage ear guy, and you see him run by him, and he asks him what happened. He said, I'm running to the police, is what he says. So instead of that guy saying, look, he's going to the police, leave it alone, he reaches in and grabs his gun, which he's not allowed to have a concealed carry permit for, and he's also a convicted felon, so I didn't think he was allowed to have a gun, but that could be argued later. He begins to chase after him with the mob, and they start yelling, get him, cranium him, which basically means hit him in the head. So they do, they assault him, they knock him to the ground. The guy with the skateboard hits him. The first guy hits him with looks like a cinder block or a rock, knocks his hat off, kind of stumbles, then he falls. Then the skateboard guy hits him. Then the skateboard guy comes and hits him again, tries to grab the gun. Again, 1 round. Puts that guy down. That was that Huber guy. Another wonderful character for the, anyhow. So he puts him down. Okay? He fired at the jump kick man who's surprisingly just now been identified. Isn't that amazing? After the trial, they identify him. He shot twice at him and he missed. He fires at Huber. He hits him. 1 shot to the chest. The next guy that runs on him is Gage, that Gage Grosquates. He raises his hands. He says he clears the gun. Well, if you've seen that gun, you have to clear it from the top. Okay? There is no way he cleared that gun. You would have seen his elbow come up. It would have been, because it was, the gun was close to his body, he would have really had to come up and clear that gun. You would have noticed that. It never comes off the pistol grip. It never does. It never comes off of it. So he wasn't clearing a jam. And there were no used live bullets that were there. But he does. He raises his hands. He points the gun at him. Soon as he puts his hands up, he drops the gun. When he drops the gun, gauge in his mind, again, I'm going to grab the gun. He comes in, right hand pointed at him, reaches for the gun, shoots him in the arm. Does he shoot anybody else? Does he hit any civilians? I'll guarantee you there are gun people out there. I follow that Colin Nora guy. Anybody that's been asked, seasoned cops that work down in L.A. or work in New York, or veterans of the military. This kid has never been in a firefight in his life. He had targets that were attacking him. They were threats in front of him, and somehow he picked them, did his job to defend himself, shot to stop the threat. Once they finally realized this kid isn't a pushover and he's going to defend himself, they quit attacking him. He walked to the police with his hands up. Had his hands up. Yeah, he had his AR on him because it's a state you're legally to carry a gun. Walked down in the middle. Did he look like a threat to the police officers? No. And they weren't really arresting anybody. And they went and treated medical aid. And then he went and turned himself in. That's a quick synopsis. That's it. Nothing else. They were trying to bring in some of the stuff that he had a goofy Twitter account. I can't remember the name of it, but it was dumb. But he's a kid, so he does dumb things. We all do dumb things. Going there, again, is immaterial. Did I think he needed to go there? No, but if the grown-ups in the room would have done their job and protected the town that he basically worked in and lived in with his dad off and on a lot, and his grandparents, and his best friend, which he was literally less than 20 minutes away. And he even said he drove himself. He didn't have a driver's license. Okay, we'll get him on that one. He was driving without a driver's license. Give him a misdemeanor. Fine him. Don't let him get his driver's license till he's 21 or 18 or whatever the case may be. But driving across state lines also makes me laugh because that's like, oh my gosh, he drove across the state line to go to another state. Well, okay, well, you're the same people that thinks the southern border needs to be wide open and everybody can come over here. So what's the difference in a state line? I mean, that's just me throwing the hypocrisy out there that's happening. And I'm just telling you, once you're in the United States, yeah, you can cross county lines or state lines and go someplace else, but, the law in Wisconsin, you can open carry. Couldn't do that where he was from. And he was allowed to have a long rifle with a long barrel. That's the law. It wasn't a sawed-off shotgun, and it didn't have a short barrel with the weapon. They tried to say all bullets are different. No, bullets kill. Why is it that assassins in the mob usually use the .22 to shoot you in the head? That's because the bullet bounces around inside your head. Doesn't clear it. I mean, again, did those bullets matter? I mean, we were always told, oh my gosh, you can't use I can't remember the round now, but you're not allowed because it'd cause more damage. But now Full Metal Jacket caused more damage because it goes through people and he didn't hit any innocent bystander. He didn't. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, whatever the situation you think could have happened, he did exactly what anybody would have done in that instant. And for the prosecutor to basically say everybody takes an ass whooping, do you really think if they would have got the gun from him, he wouldn't either still be in a hospital or dead? Again, don't have the argument of he shouldn't have been there. Neither should there have been rioters burning stuff. And I really don't care what your reasoning is. Burning a city to the ground is not a viable reason for anything. Period. And the reason that people, civilians of this country, pick up guns and hold that line is because they don't want their cities and towns burned down. Period. Bottom line. That's what you're not supposed to do. If those criminal acts weren't being committed, and if the governor and the mayor and the law enforcement were allowed to do their job, and they would have taken the request from then President Trump, then they would have had National Guard. They didn't want it. They had National Guard now because Donald Trump isn't president and they don't want Joe Biden to look bad. That's rather evident. It's not, in this constant argument of white supremacy, that has to be the biggest joke I've ever seen. The white guy yelling the N-word was the guy that was shot. Kyle Rittenhouse was not yelling the N-word. The criminal that tried to hit him with a skateboard, and anybody that's rode a skateboard at any time can tell you, if I crack you with that skateboard, you're going to be lucky to be not knocked out, minimum concussion, minimum laying on the ground so they can stomp you. Anyone that knows that you're running with me at a 9mm pistol, I don't care if it was a .22 pistol, or a .357, or a .44, or he had an AR. That close range, any bullet is a possibility of killing you. And what happened in this instance, it shows you. You want to limit the rounds to defend yourself? Yeah, he had 30 rounds in there. He didn't need 30. That's why I'm telling you, this is now going to be about guns, the Second Amendment, and your right to defend yourself. That won today. The narrative now will be come after your guns again. It'll be the big issue to take your weapons. That you shouldn't go into a riot situation armed. You knew the consequences. Well, there were no consequences for anybody that was rioting. How many of them are in jail? How many of them have been sued for damage to property? How is any of that okay? It's not. But are they being charged? So, again, congratulations, Kyle Rittenhouse. You are about to become a very rich man. Joe Biden, you're a big slimeball for not even coming out and saying, I apologize, I rushed to judgment. Because that's what everybody does now, is rush to judgment, because they want the clicks as fast as they can get. The news media, the mainstream news media, is getting blown out of the way in the internet by guys like Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro. I can't think of that one guy. There's another guy. He's kind of a leftist guy, but he calls it like he sees it, and he is what he is. But they're blowing the regular mainstream media out of the water. So they have to go, okay, well, we need to be more explosive here so we can get them away from the internet. That's not going to happen. And they know they're losing the hold on that. The problem is that he'll get a big settlement, but you got Jeff Bezos and you've got George Soros and these people that have billions upon billions of dollars to lose. So it's not going to hurt them. They'll just throw $500 million at Kyle Rittenhouse. He'll win. He'll become rich. He'll have to live with this every night. And any veteran or anybody that's in any type of law enforcement that has shot somebody, he'll see that every night. It's not saying that he didn't do that, but he was 17, 18. But we also sent 18-year-olds across the water to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan, didn't we? So, and again, did he fake his reaction at the end? It's the same reaction he had on the witness stand. So Joy Reid and the rest of you crap heads on these other news stations, and Joy Behar and the rest of them, oh, he was just faking. What an act. That's the worst acting job I've ever seen. No, the worst acting was trying to watch you, Joy Behar, on anything that you do. And the rest of you guys calling this white supremacy is now, and we need to break up the system. I'd hate to break the news to you, but Breonna Taylor's boyfriend was found not guilty of shooting law enforcement for a SWAT team going in on a no-knock warrant. He defended himself, and he didn't go to jail. He was found not guilty. And by the way, he was a black guy. On the Ahmed Arbery thing, I think those 3 guys need to go to jail. I've been watching that one too. Right now, the evidence is overwhelming. They should not have chased him. They should not have went after him. They took a gun. He didn't have a gun. They chased after him. They told him to stop. He really didn't have many places to go to. Even if it was petty theft or stealing out of inside there, you can't chase him with a gun. If somebody's in your driveway and stealing your stereo, you can go out there and hold him at gunpoint. That's not a problem. But if he runs away, you can't shoot him. Now, if he gets out and charges at you, or he's got a knife, or he's got a gun, yeah, you can defend yourself. These guys chased him, and that's a bad one. That's just bad one. And I don't see them walking on that. I see them going to jail. So anyhow, you guys take care. Hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe. Follow me on YouTube. I'm on Rumble, Common Sense Man. I'm also on Twitter. It's under Coyote. Just look me up. Anyhow, you guys take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.